Oh, gun control crowd, I got something to say to you. So you hate guns. You want to see them banned. Banned. Well, that's a really stupid idea. The Second Amendment was meant to preserve our freedom, to keep our freedoms intact, and to give the people the ability to fight back against a tyrannical government. And now some of you might say, "Oh, it's impossible to win against the United States military." I think the North Vietnamese and the Taliban proved your hypothesis incorrect. But in any case, more people are killed each year by knives and hands, fists, and feet than they are by rifles. And that includes rifles of all types. Don't believe me? Look in the description box. And, you see, the problem is that the government, in order to become tyrannical, the first order of business is always to disarm the population. And from there, it's like, countless lives have been saved by people with guns. I mean, just look up, a whole bunch of shit. There have been a whole bunch of cases. I'll have links to them in the description box, such as Eli Dickens and a few other people. Not to mention Lance Thomas. That second one is a real awesome story, let me tell you. But anyway, in this country, I have heard countless people bitch about how tyrannical the government is and how only the police should have guns. And yet they bitch about how horrible and tyrannical and oppressive the police are. What are you drinking? What are you smoking? What are you injecting into your veins? What the fuck are you snorting? Because you live in an alternate reality if you think that the only people who should have guns are tyrants. Now, I have made several videos that basically explain Mulan Labe, which is Greek for come and take it, plus thin blue line equals oxymoron. There will be links to them in the description box. You can check them out if you want. But anyway, some of you say that there's no reason for an AR-15, an AK-47, or whatever with a 30-round magazine. But truth be told, those weapons and the mass shootings that you seek to stop are account for a very, very, very small number of homicide-related deaths. This recent shooting at UNLV, Biden is calling for the regulation and banning of assault rifles, when in reality, it was the shooting was done with a handgun. And you see, removing guns is a game the government is playing with us. They want us to be unarmed. They want us to be helpless, because once we are unarmed, we are helpless, and they can do whatever the fuck they want. Like I said before, the Taliban and the North Vietnamese managed to defeat the U.S. military. So, all is not lost simply because the government has tanks, helicopters, and, tactical bombers or attack aircraft or whatever you want to call them. Biden was incorrect. You don't need an F-15 to win against the United States military. Neither the Taliban nor the North Vietnamese had them, and they still won. Granted, the North Vietnamese had a few MiG-21s, but they were few and far between. But, you see, you will not make bad people harmless by making good people harmless. You see, the thing is whenever there's a mass shooting or whatever, they usually target people that don't have guns. And they do them in gun-free zones. I mean, hell, there was even a movie called Rob the Mob. This guy began... Sorry, I got something wrong with my throat. But anyway, this guy began robbing mafia-owned businesses in New York social clubs, when he found out that no guns were allowed in these places. After he was watching the trial of Sammy the Bull Gravano. And, it's just, if more people did concealed carry, it would make criminals dread going in and doing violent things. All these smash and grab things, like where you see people going in California and just smashing up the place and just taking whatever they want and terrorizing people, all of that would stop the second people started pulling out assault rifles and shooting them. I guarantee you. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, if you disagree with this, please explain in the description box, but I ain't never heard of a dead guy committing a crime. It just doesn't work, and it will deter them. Trust me. They always go for unarmed targets. They want as much reward as they can for as little risk as possible. Now, that being said, as I recognize that there are some people who shouldn't have guns, but who gets to make that determination? You could say, oh, such and such is a felon. Well, opening up someone else's mail, that's a felony. Even if it's a close family member, it's a felony. There are so many things that are felonies, relatively innocent things, seemingly innocent things that are felonies. And hell, you may even be innocent. The only time I believe that once you've served your sentence, you are a free man or woman and have done your time and deserve all of your rights back. In fact, even murderers, they very rarely reoffend. Don't believe me? Check it out. And, but you see, the problem is that, I just don't have any inclination to explain that, some people shouldn't have guns and all that crap. That's bullshit. The only people who should not be allowed to have guns are people in prison. If they're too dangerous to own a gun, they are too dangerous to be released. Some people go, like, you wouldn't be okay with Ted Bundy having a gun. Okay, first off, Ted Bundy was a serial killer. And he probably wouldn't use a gun in the first place to commit one of his crimes. Because serial killers do not like to use guns yet, for the most part. Because it's just too impersonal. I know the DC Sniper and the Son of Sam, as well as the Zodiac Killer being the multiple exceptions. But, John Wayne Gacy, Jeffrey Dahmer, Arthur Shawcross, Pedro Alonso Lopez, Andre Chikatilo, they never used guns to commit their crimes. And it's just that simple. It was just too impersonal for them. That's how sick these people are. Or were, because everybody mentioned is now dead, save for Pedro Alonso Lopez, whose whereabouts are unknown. In any case, criminals very rarely attack armed people or armed victims. They do not want any bit of that. Why has no one ever attempted to rob Fort Knox? Because there's a bunch of people with guns. And when people are in trouble, who do you call? The police. Because they have guns. Be your own first responder. Nobody is coming to save you, at least not in time. I have seen the police on video fail the citizens constantly. From Uvalde, Texas, Stoneman Douglas High, Pulse Nightclub, and Columbine High School. The list could go on and on and on, but I'm going to stop right there. And, you know, the Second Amendment is vital. The Second Amendment is precious. All of the amendments to the Constitution are precious, except for the 18th, which was repealed. And in any case, we also do need to end the drug war, but that's a topic for another video. Anyway, I do hope that you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Be good, y'all, and stay frosty. Sic Semper Tyrannis, Mulan Labe, and don't tread on me. Bye, y'all.